Guys, we quickly figured this out that these do not fit the M1000. So let's go plan B and let's see if we could figure something out for this right now. What's up guys, Manny from Motomillion, and it's time to start customizing our M1000RR. Some of you guys guessed it. I read on some of the comments that you guys called out and said that we're gonna do mirrors and turn signals first thing on this bike. And if you watched our first ride video, I can't see much out of these mirrors, not because of the shape of them or where they are. They actually work perfectly, but because this bike buzzes so much that on 40 miles an hour or faster, I can't see anything out of these mirrors. So we're gonna change them. We're gonna deal with the turn signals because the turn signals are a part of the mirrors. And also another annoying part with every other bike that I have since I've gotten to the convenience of having TWM fuel caps on these bikes, we're gonna change the fuel cap so that I could put more miles on this bike so we could start getting onto bigger parts. But let's quickly take a look at these parts that we're gonna put onto there and get on with it. We got our all familiar Rizoma stealth mirrors. These are designed for the S1000RR, and I heard a comment from 650E saying that the base of it doesn't exactly fit these bikes. We're gonna take a look to see how it fits on there and what we can do. But as far as I could tell, the mirrors look the same to us, and the part numbers cross-reference as being the same part, so we're gonna put these on. And something brand new, and these are again for the S1000RRs, and these are available to you guys as a kit, are Rizoma LED lights that we have with the wiring harness that makes it plug and play, and the bracket that makes it a easy job to install, because this basically goes wherever the front fairing ends over here, and there's a bolt under there, which I'll show you in a second. But we're gonna put these on, and I know we said that we're gonna put a carbon fiber fuel tank on this bike, but until we put the break-in miles on the bike, and if you didn't watch our first ride video, the bike broke down at 6 miles with, since we received the 3 miles, we put 3 miles on it. We actually had a problem with the bike already. I don't wanna go crazy with it. We wanna put some miles on the bike to make sure everything is okay in case it's gotta go for warranty and stuff, that they don't start picking on some of the stuff that we changed on the bike. Mind you, what we had was no problems with anything fuel tank related, but until then, I'm going to run the carbon fiber fuel cap on our aluminum tank, and then once we go carbon fiber fuel tank, we'll put the aluminum fuel cap on it just to give that little bit of a contrast on it. But let me get these mirrors off. Let's first try these Rizoma Aero wing mirrors on there, and then we'll deal with the wiring and all the turn signals, and this is the easy job. We'll do this last. One quick thing, the connectors for the mirrors turn signals are right in here, and I don't think BMW expects you to take off all the body panels to reach through, because they say they made it easy to put this on the track by removing the mirrors and the fender off the bike. There is a clip right here. You can't see it, but you have to know that the clip is there. And you just pull the connector off the clip. That is right here. So fortunately, there's no real way to show that to you guys until we take everything apart on the bike. And then you could just undo your turn signals from right here, and that's what's required for you to actually remove these mirrors. There's no real manuals out there, so it was kind of nerve-wracking to figure out how it was, but once I got my hands in there, you kind of can feel that clip on there. But if you have an M1000RR and thinking of removing your mirrors, that's the way you get it out. Guys, we quickly figured this out that these do not fit the M1000, because if you take a look, the base is completely different from the S1000RR. Number one, it leaves a gap here. The gap we could have lived with until we figured out something for it, but this is the main issue. If you come take a look, this part of the mirror actually overlaps the fairing where it's indented in here. If you try to put these on, it's probably going to cause some damage, and also it really doesn't look good. So let's go plan B and let's see if we could figure something out for this right now. What we're gonna do is that we're probably gonna 3D print something on here for now so that we could remove the mirrors and find a solution for running other mirrors on the bike other than the Rizoma mirrors, because I'm really serious I can't see anything out of these because of how much it vibrates. But for now, for the sake of at least having mirrors for when we're stopped at the lights and when we're riding at least in town under 40 miles an hour or so, that these kind of work, I'm gonna put these back on. We'll jump onto the fuel cap, and then we'll grab, maybe we'll start DMing the bike. And if you stick around, you'll see which ones I take off. But let me put these back on the bike, and then let's jump onto the fuel tank, and we'll get back onto starting to remove some of the M's. So here's our TWM carbon fiber fuel cap. And if you guys have noticed, they've changed the design of it over the years. It used to have 5 spokes and now it has 6. The only reason behind it is that there's a lot of counterfeit stuff out there. And unfortunately, stuff like that happens when you are making some really good products and other people wants to take advantage of it. To each their own. I'm completely against the counterfeit stuff because these are made in Italy. Obviously, we know that the rubber O-rings and everything else is of quality and they've always stood behind their products in case there's any issues. But this is basically the base, and you have 2 little tabs over here that will attach to it once you get it on the bike. This is a new design with the 6 spokes. So if you ever see any 5-spoke ones out there, you could be sure that they're either very old, which I don't think any reseller right now has them anymore, or they're counterfeit for sure. And there's another way to tell them is they have production numbers somewhere on these fuel caps. And right here. So this was made on the 16th week of 2023. That kind of also gives you an idea when this fuel cap was made. But let's get this on the bike. It's very simple. You guys might have seen it before. But for any TWM cap that you're installing, do not forget there's this O-ring. This has to go back on the bike. We do hear some people saying that their fuel caps are leaking. It's because number one, they either pinch this when they put it on or they don't put it on at all because it's easy to not see it. And when you're carrying it, you drop it on the ground and you completely forget about it. But if your fuel cap is leaking, it's most likely caused by this, or you kind of miss something along the ways because again, these fuel caps have been used for a long time and there's been no issues whatsoever. But let me get this on the bike so that we see the first mod on the bike, and then we'll move on to the DMing. It's been a while that I worked on a BMW that I completely forgot that these things are Torx. Let's not try to drop anything in the fuel tank. Now that we have this off, I'm actually going to remove this. We're going to reuse this rubber. It's not an O-ring, but it's I guess a trim piece. We're going to definitely make use of that. Let's get the key out. Let's measure our stock fuel cap. It's 7 pounds or 7.2 ounces. That has the hardware on it, the 4 bolts. And let's try this. Let's try putting all this on here. And the carbon fuel cap weighs 4 ounces, 4.1 ounces. So we're saving 3.1 ounces. Every little bit counts. I know someone's going to say you should lose some weight. You'll save some weight that way, but I always reply to that saying, imagine you lose some weight and you lose more weight on your bike. But let's get this back on there. As you see, this has these bushings, metal bushings. We'll come here and put them in place. Again, do not drop these in the tank. They're aluminum. I don't think they've invented aluminum magnets yet, so you can't really pull them off with a magnet. And then, if you see, it says top on the top part of this. That means that this faces forward. And let's put this in place like this. Don't go fully tight on one bolt from the beginning. Just try to go around because it's going to pull this thing down. And also, a word of caution. These are, I believe, M5 or M4 bolts, so they're pretty small thread and they're fine thread. So it might be easy to cross thread them. Make sure that you're not cross threading them, because then you'd have to take your bike to a machine shop for them to hopefully either tap or rethread it for you. That works perfectly. There we go. So now we're going to put the cover on it. And let's Let's see how this goes. This goes in here like this. This trim piece goes back on. Just line it up, make sure that it's in place. And this is where the double-sided tape was, so I just want to push it down and hold it a little bit. Push down, quarter turn open, fill up. Put your cap back on. Don't forget it at the gas station. I've done it before too. And get back to riding. Now let's get on to the DMing the bike. Let me grab the piece. You guys might have a little bit of a laugh with this, but I really don't like the M's on the bike, and it's also a piece that makes the bike visually more appealing to me. Let me grab that part and let me show it to you. So guys, here it is. This is our part that I didn't mention in the beginning because I didn't know that we were going to put this on the bike, but I'm just taking the opportunity to do so. This is the race rear hugger. The difference from this one that we see on the bike is that number one, this is one piece, and number two, the chain guard is shorter, so it's visually more appealing, at least to me it is. And the other visually appealing part for me is that we're going to miss our M logos here and here, so we're going to be down 2 M logos. Maybe as we go around and do mods on the bike, we'll do an M counter, because I think the final count on it was 23 M's. We're going to remove 2 M's from this. Trust me, we're going to be still left with plenty of M logos on the bike when we're done with it. But I'm going to get this on the bike to make it look nicer, and then we'll see it on the bike. So as you see, this is one part, the chain guard. I want to save this clip. And I'm just taking this off right now because one of the clips are right behind this right here. And if you're looking to put a slip-on on your S1000 or M1000RR, this is how easy it is to put a slip-on these bikes. And this is the clip that we see. And there you go, guys, this is out. And this is that part that I mentioned to you guys. This is how the wiring is supposed to sit on here. And let's just get it back on. I'm not going to put any other clips in place yet. I first want to make sure everything is how it's supposed to be and is fitting on nicely, and then we'll permanently clip in the clips. I'm going to be safe over here. I'm just going to wipe it down because I put fingerprints on it, but it's already looking better. Let me get the muffler back on the bike. And trust me guys, I can't wait to change the exhaust on this bike, but we got to put in more of the braking miles. The weather hasn't been really cooperating with us here in Miami, which is a weird thing to say, but it is getting to the rainy season over here. But be assured that in the later episodes, you can see us putting an exhaust on this bike. And let us know in the comments below what kind of exhaust you'd like to see on the bike. I kind of have my mind set on it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe you guys can change my mind on it. So guys, the rear hugger with the short chain guard is on there. It looks beautiful. To me, it's a lot more pleasing to have the chain guard short because you get to see these wheels more. And now that the M carbon wheels have the carbon weave showing more, it's more pleasing to look at. And stay tuned. We are going to be changing these wheels, guys. I guess you guys got to see a little bit of it behind the scenes of what goes around here and why we buy these bikes. We buy them to get the expertise we need, and in this case, we figured out the Rizoma mirrors don't fit because not all manufacturers are up to date as quickly as possible when a new bike comes out. We're going to figure something out with the mirrors. I think what's going to happen is that no one's going to make those mirrors work because Rizoma might not go through the trouble of making new mirrors for a bike that's going to be very, very low production numbers. We'll see. I might have to eat my words. But until then, I think we're going to keep these mirrors on. You guys saw that we also changed our TWM fuel cap, which makes it a lot more functional for me because I got to put the braking miles on this bike to get on with some of the other mods and to make sure that this bike is A-okay. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a great one.